Good morning. I'd like to thank everybody this morning for looking after everything, and as we grow as a church, I'd like to spend this morning on the devotion. I called it For the Love of the Family. My verse this morning that I have been looking at is 1 Corinthians 7:3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, likewise the wife unto the husband. The other day we were working at home here, and one thing that I realized was we are in a situation where I'm working from home, Gwen's working from home, Jacob's doing school, and we are trying to get closer to God. We are spending more time as a family and focusing our devotional time now, more so in the morning than in the evening, listening to services at home. And, here we are doing what we can to get more spiritual and during this time, especially with the events. But how are we spending our time with our family? Is one thing that crossed my mind, especially with Gwen and Jacob. And I started realizing some things that really bothered me, and God was working in my heart. We are getting closer to God, but I started to realize that the time we're spending with each other is not the same as learning to serve. Being in the same space with the family becomes more difficult, and that closeness, like Gwen's used to me being away all day, where she has some quiet time for herself that she can get things done, and Jacob's at school. I'm used to being at work, working, and not being home. And are we starting to get on each other's nerves? And that's something that I became very aware of real quickly, that it's not that we struggled, it's just that we were spending the same time together in the same space. And sometimes we need a little bit of space for ourselves. The biggest thing that came across was understanding the needs. I had to learn how to understand what the needs of my wife was, and our children. Ephesians 5:2 talks about the wives submitting to the husband, and 25 says, husbands, submit to your wife as Christ loved the church. But we forget that in verse 5:21 it says, submit yourselves to one another. And that's where it gets very difficult. So I'm starting to learn now that as we are together, what are the needs of Gwen? What are the needs of Jacob? What can I do to help? Is kind of the outcome of this now. So really, in conclusion, we speak and we serve God and get closer to Him during this time. We also need to be more sensitive to our family's needs as well, that we may love one another and not forget and not assume and not take for granted that things are good, things are okay, because we're together and we're sharing our space. But are we sharing it effectively? Is there anything that I can do to serve my wife better, is what I ask myself. And I hope this helps a lot. And just remember what the needs are, what can we do, and how can we help better. Thank you.